Apprentices, acolytes, and fellow Sith Lords, coming into the Dark Temple, visited by Mara Jade, Luke Skywalker, and Kyle Katarn, and so many of the Force sensitives like yourself. I am Lord Dagovere, and it's so good to see you. Yes. Yo. Apprentices and acolytes, let's go fam. Coming into the stream, baby. Yes, sir. Who do we got today? SJ, Ahmad. Oh my God, Skywalker Academy. All the apprentices and acolytes coming into the stream. You know how we do it here. Can I please, for the first time today, Logan as well, can I get ready up in the chat, baby? All right. Again, your boy did not start his TikTok stream. So, yeah, I also, I didn't shave, so I'm sorry if I have the, the Aragorn, for Frodo look, okay? So I'm sorry. Reza in the chat. Oh my God, everybody welcome Reza and Leon with a ready up. I've been subscribed for years, and I have yet to receive my smart car. Where is my Sith car, Lord Dagovere? Give me a second, guys. Let me start this stream. So, we're gonna have. We have so much to talk about today. I really want to get into the nitty gritty of FOTOR, baby. Calling it here for the first time ever. FOTOR, Fate of the Old Republic. I cannot rate. Yo, B-Rad. It's so good to see everybody. Welcome, B-Rad, with a ready up. Yeah, man. How many of you actually saw the Starlight podcast stream with me and Daddy Sheev? That stuff, oh my God, man. I feel like we should start off the stream by watching the trailer again. I feel like we really should just watch it again and get hyped, because it's one of those things where, guys, I love watching trailers over and over. Like, genuinely, like, I love, especially when I'm really excited. Where can I watch it? Well, I'll put it on stream. I'll put it on stream. That's what I'll do. Let me get this set up. Here we go. I'll go over here. I'll go to YouTube. Let me get the. But how many of you actually saw the Game Awards? I literally have never watched the Game Awards ever, by the way. So I guess I need to watch the Game Awards more often, because it seems like when I watch it, all of a sudden, there are so many Star Wars trailers in the Game Awards. Wow, it's got 2.3 million views. That's not bad, man. Pretty hyped about that. Okay. All right, so that's what we'll do. We'll watch this first, guys. All right, let me see if I have everything out. Cool. All right. You guys want to watch the trailer together? All right, give me a second. Let me get this going. Let's go into scene. Okay, let me put this here. All right. All right, y'all. We're going to watch it. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Wait. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, 3, 2, 1. A go. Alright, so hopefully it's not too loud. No dark mode? Yeah, it's because I'm on the private tab. I have dark mode on mine. So, I instantly... Hey, okay, I will not... I will say this. I instantly thought it was a Star Wars trailer right here on this frame, because this gauntlet right here is so very Old Republic. I instantly thought it was it. I also was watching full screen or we will get blind. Okay, sorry. I apologize. Okay, there you go. I'm sorry, guys. So, when this frame right here, I instantly thought it was a Star Wars trailer. But I was watching the trailer without sound, so I couldn't hear the damn holo terminal in the background, which would have instantly given it away. So I didn't know. But this is beautiful, guys. And then also, this right here is almost the same freaking ship that Luthen has in Andor. And I almost said, But I was just so, you don't understand, guys. Like, when you're not getting enough Star Wars trailers, I feel like I get so apathetic. You know, like I just feel nothing. And I always convince myself that I'm wrong about all of these Star Wars things that are happening. I'll let the trailer play the rest of the way so I don't, like, annoy the hell out of you guys, but we'll watch the whole thing. Thank you guys for coming on TikTok stream over here. Oh, look at those, man. Look at that water, bro. Dang. We thirsty as hell. Did I forget my damn water, too? Oh, my God. Look at that, man. Look at this! It's so glorious. Oh, that chair, dude. Oh, my gosh, man. It looks so good. Yes! That's what I love. That's what we doing, baby. Look at that! Damn, man. Gorgeous. Then the crash sites, man. The crash sites are so Knights of the Old Republic. What game is this? Right here, guys. Let's go! Let's go, baby! Oh my gosh. It's a great trailer, y'all. It's such a good trailer, man. This right here, guys. Oh my gosh. Sheesh. Sheesh! Can I get a sheesh in the chat, bro? What do you know about Nomi, Sunrider, Satil Shan, Bastila Shan, Matrix Surik, baby, huh? What do you know? Guys, I just I just can't. I genuinely, I cannot express with words how excited I am for this game. Anybody out there talking shit about, well, it's Disney or Woke of the Old Republic, shut the hell up, man. Y'all ain't never played Knights of the Old Republic. Y'all ain't do this. Y'all don't even know who XR Kun is. Y'all don't even know who Matrix Surik is. You don't know who the Blind One is. Nah, bro. Take your time. Take your time with this game, okay? This game will take 20 years, and I swear to God, I will eat yogurt for the rest of my life if I need to, man. I will survive. I will play this game. I don't care. You need to make it cook, baby. We gonna let it cook, all right? What's the Ewok weapon of choice? Oh my gosh, it's got to be the magic, bro. It's always got to be the magic. Damn, I just like. So, Casey said it wasn't going to take 5 years. Yes, and we're going to talk about that. We'll trust me. We will talk about all of that. All right. So, I just want to share a quick story with you. Okay. Your boy, Lord Dagovere, okay, is. Nope, that's not it. Nope, that's not it. What are we doing here? Sorry, I'm a boomer. So here's the thing. All right, your boy Lord Dagovere is a huge Halo fan. Okay, and there was a time where I was working stupid shifts. Like it was like 12-hour shifts just about every single day. I didn't get home until maybe like 11:30 was at night. Was pretty early. And then I would go home to play Star Wars The Old Republic, right? But before that time, before Star Wars The Old Republic had come out, there was also, like, no Halo. And Halo was, like, the first game that really got me into it, okay? That got me into gaming in general. I loved Halo so much. I loved Halo so much that I fucking started reading books. And I played sports my entire life. So, you know, books were just kind of, like, stupid-ass shit. Ain't nobody want to read books. But I read books because I wanted to know about Master Chief, baby. I wanted to know about John 117. You know? And Halo 3 had come out. ODST had come out. Reach had come out. That was it. It was done. And I remember for like a good 5 years, there was no Halo games. And I was hoping and hoping and praying, and then I ended up watching E3. I can't remember which one it was. And they said, all right, this is the end of E3, and we're going to send off the entire E3 show for Microsoft with a brand new trilogy with a brand new story and a brand new, I think it was a brand new trilogy. And I was like, oh, what the hell? That's not Halo. And then this trailer is like super intricate and weird. It looks like it's like neurons in someone's head. And then there's like fire, and then there's booms, and you hear things and explosions. And then it seems like you're in someone's brain. And then all of a sudden, you can hear Cortana scream, "Chief!" And I don't know if you guys can tell, but I got so much goddamn goosebumps, even when I'm talking about it now, baby. And then all of a sudden, she says, "Wake up, John." And then Master Chief is shown, and he freaking ejects out of his unconsciousness, his cryosleep, opens the whole freaking compartment, grabs Cortana, and it's a brand new Halo game. I ran out the goddamn house and was screaming at the top of my lungs. And this shit, guys, this shit made me feel the same fucking way, man. This shit made me feel the same way, man. When I hear this lightsaber, guys, it inject that shit into my veins, baby. It is all about the old Republic here. Oh! Bro. This is what I live for, guys. It's these... I honestly might play Swoto right now. I know, right? That's how amazing it is, man. Ugh. Look very Rakatan to me. What? No way, dude. Listen, Diet, you can't just come into the stream. Element and or Chaco, and then drop the Rakata bomb. No. 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 No, because see, I actually think it's a bulk gullet. That's what I think it is. But I could be completely wrong. To me, it looks like a bulk gullet. Bulk gullet will know the truth. That's what I think it is. But either way, man, I just feel so excited. I feel like we won. But I did want to go over some stuff today because, we live in a world where everybody's just taking shit and thinking it's absolute fact. So the first thing we're going to go over today is one of the most important things, and that is this, okay? This is Casey Hudson. This is the director of the entire game. This is also, I think, the lead director of the brand new studio, which is essentially created for this game. And he says, don't worry about the not till 2030 rumors. The game will be out before then. I'm not getting any younger. And I just have to say to everyone out there talking about how this game isn't going to come out till 2030, that person that did that deleted their tweet. I think it is completely asinine for someone to ever speak out about that, especially if they're a reporter, when everyone and their mother these days makes TikToks, makes posts, makes YouTube videos just to trash shit. I cannot even imagine the idea of all these die-hard Knights of the Old Republic fans, including myself, whether you love Disney or you hate Disney, whatever, I don't care. It's just the fact of, instantly in that moment, we have a win. We have an Old Republic game. A canon Old Republic game, And the first thing people want to do is trash this shit. Dude, I understand, man. If there's anybody that is toxic as hell about Star Wars games and the era that they're in and the situation that they're in, it's me, okay? I'm not blind. I got 4 eyes, okay? I can clearly see what the hell I'm talking about here, all right? But I'm telling you right now, guys, why are we destroying shit that isn't even born yet? I do not want another Outlaw situation where the stuff is dead on arrival, but this isn't anywhere near Outlaws, guys. We got people that actually know what the Old Republic is. These are people that directed and had ideas and literally are they're gonna cook for the Old Republic. These are OGs coming back to make this game, and we're not gonna take their word over everything else. So crazy to me, man. You know, I believe Casey right now. I trust Casey. I feel like there's no reason for me not to. You know. Let these people cook. If the game comes out in 2028, I'm okay. I personally feel like it's going to come out in 2028. 2029, that sucks. But I do not care. I want this game to be great. I want this game to be beautiful. Cook. Make sure it has that budget. Make sure it looks good. Make sure it plays. But we have some questions, y'all. As excited I am about this game, what's going to be the mechanics? You know? How's it going to look? Is this going to be open world-ish? Is this going to be open universe-ish? No, obviously, I don't think so. But, like, we got some big questions. We got some big questions we have to talk about ourselves, you know? And everybody in the chat, in TikTok and everybody else, is this game going to be turn-based? I think that's the biggest question so far. Personally, I don't think so. I would like to see, like, a Baldur's Gate type of combat where it can be turn-based, you know, and there's a way that you could do it. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Jason on TikTok says, why can't we create our own character in open-world Star Wars games that I can play with my buds? Well, we just haven't had that opportunity yet, honestly. Even with Outlaws, I think Outlaws missed it. But even if they gave me pre-established characters, pre-created characters with open worlds and co-op, I would have been fine. That's really all honestly, Outlaws only needed. It only needed co-op for me. I didn't mind K, but everything else, I just wish it happened. That long into the mist, yeah. Ahmed says, Dagovere, since FOTOR takes place at the end of the Old Republic, could we see such Moment and Shah and Bane in the Brotherhood of Darkness? So a lot of people are putting that towards the end of the Old Republic. I actually think that's too far. For me, I would say maybe 500 years even before that, because you're getting close to High Republic, you know, a Battle of Rusan area, and I still feel like that era, a lot of people categorize it as Old Republic. I do not. I don't think that's Old Republic era. I would classify that as the Sith War, you know, or excuse me, not the Sith War. It's the Civil War, the Galactic Civil War with the Sith and the Old Republic. I think it's really, I don't know. That era is very confusing, I think, for a lot of people, because we still don't really know where the Old Republic ended, and then the Reformation, which is the Battle of Rusan, the Reformation of the Jedi Order started. You know, I think there's still hundreds of years where you can get a game like this, where you are searching for Revan. Because, listen, guys, I love Legends continuity, but I cannot stand the Revan book, and I really, really do not like Star Wars The Old Republic as a sequel to Knights of the Old Republic. I love SWTOR. It is one of my favorite games, but I dislike it in a sense of a sequel to Knights of the Old Republic 2. The reason for that is because at the end of that game, Trey is talking on Malachar about how Revan is going off to do the Battle of all battles, and maybe Matrix Surik is going to join him, you know. And I've loved the idea of Matrix Surik trying to find Revan and doing the Dagarath, right? The Battle of all battles. Is that Vitiate? Is that the Sith gods? Is that whatever else that we're talking about? Fate of the Old Republic? I think it could be. But I think it's closer to Knights of the Old Republic 2 than it is Battle of Rusan and Brotherhood of Darkness. Does that make sense? That's where I think it would really be. I mean, that's where I would put it, but I'm just a freaking nerd on the internet talking about Star Wars, so who gives a shit? Tex-Mex Check says, what was your opinion on the Frankenstein movie? I mean, it was okay. I mean, you know, that's how I feel. Gage says, the announcement of this trailer has shown me is how many Old Republic tourists there are don't actually understand the first two, but proclaim to be the biggest Revan's fans. So, Gage, that's true, you know, and here's the thing, too, is, like, we cannot expect everybody to play Knights of the Old Republic. And we can't expect everybody to play Knights of the Old Republic too. That game is very old. That game did not age well in terms of the mechanics. In terms of the mechanics and the graphics, you know, I don't think that game has aged well. So if you are a brand new gen fan of Star Wars coming in and trying to play Knights of the Old Republic because you love Revan, I would not expect these people to play past the first couple of hours, you know, especially with turn-based. Revan is such an attractive character for kids that are like 11 up until like 19 years old, because you yourself, the character, play him, and he's a badass dude. That's what a lot of the TikTok slop and YouTube short slop and, you know, Reddit online people talk about, is like this character that wields both light and darkness, which is completely inaccurate. You know, it's very untrue. What Revan is a very dynamic character, complex character that you yourself make the choices of. And he's arguably one of the greatest characters in Star Wars because the player plays him, and for you as a video game person, that is your Empire Strikes Back. The twist at the end, welcome home, Darth Revan. You know, like, it's very important to that. So what as content creators like me is we give you the watered down version of what this character is, because we know what's most attractive about him, and then we educate you, and then you end up liking him, you know. And I think that's where a lot of the damage is done with the Star Wars universe and the fandom, is because Revan is that guy. Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader is that guy. But no one is truly into the character enough, or excuse me, no one is truly into the franchise enough to actually play the game, to actually read the books. I do a lot of polls on here as well, and there are thousands of people that vote on them, and 90% of them always say they only watch YouTube videos instead of playing the game and reading the books. It is what it is. It's the easiest digestible stuff. I don't disrespect them, you know, or not respect them, but it's very clear how someone is getting their information compared to the actual source, you know, and that's, but I think that's also really fun too, you know, because that's why that character is so important to a lot of people, is because, dude, everybody and their mother is liking this character, you know. At least finally we have a game that may or may not talk about what he has been on, and finally we got it. You know, I really can't wait for that. A Destiny type Star Wars game would be the most popular Star Wars game of all time. I think that's actually quite subjective, but I don't think that you're wrong, because when I think Destiny, I think of an FPS, but I think Destiny does a really great job with like building a world and then having people inside that world to the point where it doesn't litter your immersion. And I think that's where Destiny does really well. I don't know if you guys have played this, and this goes for YouTube and TikTok. And Dyad, you can also talk about this, because I know you do developing for video games, by the way. So make sure you guys follow Dyad in the chat. Element and Darth Chaco, cool guys. There's this game, I think it's called Where the Winds Meet, or The Winds Meet, or The Winds Are Meeting and Where, or something. Anyway, it's a really cool game. I actually play it every other night. And they also have this Destiny-like mechanic where there's a map, and there are phases of like cities or towns that you mesh in with. And so you'll go out into the map and do your quests and missions, and maybe it's like a 5-team or a 6-team, or you're just in the online state of the servers and you're seeing so many players mesh in, phase out. It's really cool. I really would not mind a game like that if it was on Coruscant or Tatooine, you know, whatever freaking establishment or planet that they want to have. I think that'd be really cool. And so the Destiny part comes into that, because if you can just get that trick and give me like 6 or 7 planets, 8 or 9 planets, and maybe I could be a bounty hunter, maybe I could be a force user, or whatever class that exists, even to the point where I have my freaking ship and I'm staying in there with 4 or 5 of my friends, that's something I will play all the time. That is something I will literally play all the time. That is, give me that shit now, man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Logan, also for being here, guys. Appreciate you guys. Let's freaking go, Chad. Y'all popping off today, man. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate you. Dyad says, as a game dev myself, this has been in development for at least 2 years already. You can't start a dev cycle on one day and drop cinematic trailer. They already have at least a vertical slice. Yes, Dyad. Dyad, you know somewhat of the work that I've done for certain projects that I'm not allowed to talk about. And I consistently try to educate people on how production works. When someone says it's been in production, that literally just means that they've been working on a script. Someone has taken notes and someone has written down something. And that can go on for years. Before the Ben Solo stuff had leaked, I told you guys that someone, probably Adam Driver, was putting thousands of dollars into this script because they had to hire writers, and then they also needed someone like a producer to get people together and pitch it, which also means that there was concept art. That was about a week before the whole thing was leaked until they said they had a script. So that multiplied all the money that I was thinking about, and then they probably actually put millions into it. So development is a very interesting part, and I don't think a lot of people really understand how long development can take, especially pre-development before something actually gets greenlit. Because that's another thing too. The dev himself, that studio's only been there for 5-6 months earlier this year, I think, but that whole pitch for that game could have been going on for years until it was finally greenlit. I think that's actually one of the reasons why they even had the idea to remake Knights of the Old Republic games, but that's a discussion for another time. I just want the game to release. That's really what I want. In canon, the Old Republic is about 25,000 years to... Yeah, I mean, that's exactly where I'm thinking more... Guys, I'm thinking more like maybe... Here, I can't remember off the top of my head, and I'm so sorry, guys. I'm getting old, okay? I got gray hairs. Unk is getting older, okay? So, SWTOR timeline. That's what I actually want to know. When SWTOR takes place. Because SWTOR is 300 years after Knights of the Old Republic 2? Let me see this. Yeah, so it's about... Yeah, it's 3,600 BBY. So I'm expecting this game to be around 2,000 years before the Battle of Yavin. I'm thinking about 2,500 years, honestly. That's where I think it is. Yeah, 300 years. Thank you. Yeah, so that's honestly where I think that this is happening. I think that if you put this game around the 2,000 year mark, that's so much room to breathe, baby. You have so much room. Oh my God. Can you imagine sitting there and then, oh my God. And then on top of that, you play as a descendant of Bastila. So you're basically in-universe Satele Shan, right? Or maybe even Satele's daughter. And you're going around trying to find the remnants of your great-great-great-grandfather, And then that's why you see the goddamn Leviathan in the trailer. I need to stop, man, because I get so freaking excited about this shit. So, oh my God! Yeah, but, okay, so B-Rad, though. Yes, the studio did open this year, but that doesn't mean that production started this year. Production could have started so much earlier, man. All you need is a writer and a producer, and those people will start putting in all of the ideas for the game. And so that's where you get the story, that's where you get the outline, and then eventually you have the studio. But it's really about whether or not they legitimized, they officially made this studio and then started working on the game, But it seems like a lot of the writing may be done, So I think they have way more than they're actually leading on to, Especially if they've made a trailer, that means they're very confident, This isn't some Star Wars Eclipse shit, guys. This feels very different, This is well executed, in my opinion, in terms of a trailer. Star Wars Eclipse is a beautiful trailer. One of the best Star Wars trailers that we've seen. but it just seems like a whole mesh of ideas into one thing. We're going to do this, and then we're going to do this. Oh, then there's this thing. Oh, yeah, we're in the High Republic, but, you can't really get a lot of stuff happening. FOTOR, baby, Fohammer. FOTOR seems way more focused. It seems way more, this is the idea. This is where the story is going. This is our character. These are our companions. And here's what here's just a taste of what the story's going to be. Casey had stayed in touch with Lucasfilm, so you're probably right. Yes, I believe 100%. I'm quivering right now, Dagovere. Don't put Satele into into the ether. I'm telling you right now, dude. When I saw that, I thought about two characters, man. I thought about the descendant of Satele Shan, and I thought about Matrix Surik, man. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know what's up with all these people talking about, oh my god, it's a female character again. Like, bro, KOTOR, you've always been able to personalize your character. Who gives a shit? And there's very important characters in the Old Republic that are female, man. Jesus. Like the whole story, especially Traya. Especially Traya and Matrix Surik. That game is all women. It's all women. Atris, the blind one, it's all women outside of Nihilus and Scion, and Atten, because he's freaking hilarious. I just don't get it. I understand certain criticisms, but when it comes to bad bitches in Star Wars, what are we talking about, man? Damn it, man. Jesus. Mythical whoa, Spunky! Oh my god, dude, that is insane. It's so good to see you, fam. Appreciate you being here, man. That's crazy. Yeah, something. Can I have the Ewok back there? They were sold out. Jordan. Yeah, I love the Ewok. It's cute as hell. Thank you, by the way, for joining the stream. Yeah, I don't know if you guys can see on YouTube, but I got your boy Wicket back there. Have you guys seen that? Have I shown you guys that? He's so adorable, man. I don't give a shit about that Labubu stuff, but Wicket is cute as hell. I had to get it, man. I woke up at like 6 o'clock in the morning to get it. And there were still a bunch. I don't know if they're there now. Dying of the Force says, I think the formation of the studio, Casey Hudson and the old Me team, was because they had finalized pre-dev and pre-viz and were given the head to go. Yes, and I also and see, this is why I really appreciate you being in the chat, Dyad, because you know about this. You know about the game stuff. I know about the movie stuff, but we both clearly know about how stuff is greenlit in production and how this stuff works. So and I also think that there was momentum where they said, hey, Asper and Saber Interactive are doing all this shit. We really need to get you guys into this game like now, because we don't have Star Wars video games outside of a few other things. And I think that they said, this shit has been waiting along. Let's go. Let's do it. I'm also, can we also like just get a one clap in the chat, baby? One clap. Can we also just get a freaking one clap for Lucasfilm, Disney, whoever the hell decided to bring in Casey and this team? I mean, the only other thing I would love is for Chris Avalon to be a part of this. But you know what Chris Avalon said? You guys want to know what Chris Avalon said about this? This is what he said, and I think it's really interesting. All right? Chris Avalon says, just because there are questions, no. I am not involved in Fate of the Old Republic beyond letting you decide its fate in KOTOR 2. Also, Casey plus Ko's original idea for Knights of the Old Republic 2, which I heard about years later, was way better than ours. So I don't think you have much to worry about. Ooh. Shit! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! God damn! The game is about 4 years away, baby, and you're already teasing me with so much. I swear to God, the Rakatas and the Celestials and the Grist themselves gonna be coming after me because I'm gonna need to calm down, baby. Ugh. hey guys, I just gotta let you know, if I die, just send me to Dromenkas. Make a temple in my memorial, and please make sure there's outlets so you guys can play this goddamn game at the very least at my funeral if I don't make it, because, baby, I'm gonna need it in some way. I'm going to be persevering and persisting like a Sith spirit. I'm going to make sure I'm going to dawn on you as the chosen ones, the exiles, like Mark Aragnos finds Exar Kun and Eula Keldroma, baby, because we are going to be playing this game one way or another. I swear to God. Dude, I've been trying to get my hands on one of those Revenge of the Sith posters. Ben, they are extremely hard. The only reason why I got it is because I ended up pre-ordering it as soon as the artist let us know. I would probably try eBay. I think eBay might be your best shot. Definitely. No, I'm going to use Sith Alchemy to revive you. Woo! Look at what you've made. Oh my God, man. He said a really nice tweet about Casey. Yeah, that's what I'm loving, man. Dagovere, if you say Fortress about 2,000 BBY, then would that mean we could get Darth Ruin starting with a Simp Empire? That would be good. I would. So here's my thing: is like, I may not like Star Wars: The Old Republic as a sequel to Revan and Knights of the Old Republic 2, right? But we can still use characters like the Sith gods that were supposed to be in Knights of the Old Republic 3. We can still use, dare I say, Nihilus and Scion and Treya, Vitiate, Malgus, Mar, There are many things that you can do with this story. But I do not want let's bring these characters in the new canon. No. That's not what we do. Okay? And I don't know if you guys have been following the podcast since like 2019, but one of the first podcasts I did back in like 2021 was I was talking about how Knights of the Old Republic can be canon. And I swear to God, someone heard me out there in the universe of Star Wars, because I said, you do not make Knights of the Old Republic 1 and Knights of the Old Republic 2. You make Knights of the Old Republic 3. And Knights of the Old Republic 3 does not need to be a direct continuation. All you do is you put it in the same timeline, and just by doing that, you acknowledge everything else what came before. That is what you do. And this game may not be a direct sequel or a direct continuation, but it is. It is a spiritual successor. So with that Leviathan, if it is there, that is all you need to know. That everything that you've been through, all the choices that you made with your character are canon. That's the whole point. You don't touch it. The legacy is there. It's already safe. It's already secret. Now, just acknowledge it. And now you have a whole new story that you could play with. And nothing is ruined. Nothing is destroyed. And you have the best of both worlds. Something original and everything that you loved back in the story that you deserve. That's how you do it. And this is the right... I'm gonna break this table, guys. I'm gonna break this table. That's how you do it! Ah, man. That's how you do it, man. Everything before Disney is canon. I think that if... I don't see what the problem is for both. I have my issues with the sequel trilogy. I'm very outspoken about my issues with The Last Jedi, The Rise of Skywalker, and certain continuity. But the Old Republic is still canon to me. The Rule of Two is still canon to me. Pain, Path of Destruction, Darth Plagueis, all those things do not have direct substitutes in the new canon. So in my head canon, it just enhances new canon. It's there until it's not. And even if it is replaced, I still get to go back and read it. Disney owns everything, whether we like it or not. So it is what it is. But I understand everybody's criticism. And I'm usually respectfully right there with you, The Last Jedi. Mentioned Jedi Connor in the chat. Yo, can we please get a ready up for footsies and Jedi Connor? Thank you so much. Dyad in the Force says, I think What I'm most excited about is seeing what a canon Old Republic era looks like, because both Chaco and I's biggest criticism of Legends: The Old Republic is that the galaxy looked the same. Yeah. So we need a very old, timey-wimey Doctor Who feel. No, I'm just kidding. Timey feel, and a galaxy that feels less explored and empty and inviting to. Yes, yes, and you know, I think they nailed it with this trailer. You know, I really do, because when I see this trailer, y'all, like, oh my God, man. Sorry, I'm just like reminiscing over the trailer. When I see this freaking trailer, dude, like, there's one part to me outside of the character, the Satil Shan descendant. It's this part right here. It's this part right here. It's this part. This is exactly what you're describing. This is exactly what it is. David Torres broke my phone. What's good? Yo, thank you so much, David Torres. Appreciate it, everybody. Welcome David Torres on the other phone with a ready up. This is what I'm talking about, man. This is beautiful. Like, this is exactly what I need. If the game is literally 60 hours of exploring this wreckage, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10, guys. You know? EA, like Activision, bunch of woke devs. Okay. This right here is like exactly what I'm looking for, man. Like, this is like, oh my God. This, to me, this is like, I literally just read all the Tales of the Jedi comics. I played Knights of the Old Republic. I heard the stories. And here we go. I'm going off on the Outer Rim, to the very edges of the Outer Rim that maybe even like star maps don't even have parts of these territories and planets. And I think I just found Darth Revan's Leviathan. That's crazy, man. It's so like this shot right here is the whole trailer for me. I think that says everything. And look at the wreckage, man. Like, it's been there. And nobody knows. Nobody knows. It's just been there. There are so many wars. The galaxy is trying to recover from the Mandalorian Wars. And this is happening. You know, the Sith are still out there. The Brotherhood of Darkness is slowly becoming a thing thousands of years after this. And there is a character that wants to find out about their ancestry, their legacy, because they may or may not be related to either Maître Surik or Bastila Shan or Revan, and they come across Revan's Leviathan. And you know what's crazy too? It may not even be a Sith Leviathan at that point. You know, it could be something that he turned and still used, and it was just a symbol of his history where he was going out as a redeemed Jedi Knight to fight whatever power that he's trying to look for, that Kreia is talking about, you know. Someone know which droid this is? I don't know, but it definitely looks like an older version of a K2 droid, honestly. The way its legs are and the way its arms are, I think it's very, very, very similar. The shot where they're getting closer to the wreckage. What? There is a part where... Oh, here it is, actually. Yeah, so this part where you can clearly see... But obviously it's not. You know, it has a book back. It has an antenna. It's really interesting. It also has lights. I don't know if you guys can see that. There are lights that it's pointing to. I used to dissect trailers all the time. But I think it's really... Yeah, you can see how the light... In those couple of frames, the light will gently move. See, just searching. It's very snap. There's a quick movement, and the light is moving. So I think that this is a very interesting droid that we haven't seen it yet. But you know what's also there, right above my stupid-ass face? Let me move it. The chat's there, too. Okay, give me 1 second. Right here, right above the droid, that's a Sith fighter right there. That's a Sith fighter. That is a wreckage of a Sith starfighter. So this is a Sith ship. So there's a lot going on in this trailer, man. I could literally talk about this trailer for days. I really can, man. Could very well be an HK. You think so? Probably a version. Yeah, I would like to see that too. That'd be really cool. You know. And someone said that this was a Corrin? That this guy down here was a Corrin? Oh, yeah, he is. Okay, yeah. He is. Okay, he is. Yeah, you can see right there. Yeah, he's not... Okay, yeah, they have the same height. I thought he was much shorter. I'm gonna go back to where she gets out of the ship. Oh, okay, yeah. So, I thought this was a much smaller species of alien. Because I thought that she was much further or closer to the ship than he was. Which she is, but this height is really interesting. They don't really look... Like, the Corrin doesn't look as short in this shot than they do in this shot. But I don't know. Yeah, those freaking Giska... Get out of my damn ship. Oh man, dude. Yeah, but I'm hyped as hell for this, guys. I'm very, 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 very excited. It is, man. I'm very excited. I can't wait, dude. I love this. I love it, man. I'm so excited. I don't know if I've said that, but I'm very I'm getting hyped for the Mando movie. I'm so glad you are. I can't wait for it too, man. I just bought a new shirt for the day I go and see it in the movies with my boys Daddy Sheev and Jedi Connor. Gage says, I think KOTOR 1 and KOTOR 2 felt very old and desolate, but SWTOR sudden had 5 cities. Yes, well, because it's an MMO. And I understand what you're talking about too. But you know what also goes very well with Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2 is the graphics. The graphics make you feel like this is an ancient time in Star Wars. Even with Terrace, and Terrace gets blown to bits, you know, in the first, 30 minutes of the game, right? Even with Terrace, it still feels like Terrace is very different and just isolated from the rest of the galaxy, you know? But also the soundtrack, you know, I don't know, man. I remember when Star Wars The Old Republic was coming out, and I felt like Star Wars The Old Republic looked way too toony compared to what Knights of the Old Republic games looked. So this, to me, this aesthetic that they have right now looks amazing, man. Just finished Master of Evil. It's pretty damn good. Yeah, I gotta finish it, man. I've been slacking, bro. You boys been working, but honestly, it's just an excuse. Skywalker Academy says, be cool if we start in the core and it feels safe, but the Outer Rim is mysterious, full of dangers and unexplored planets. So, I want to say, every Star Wars game, Knights of the Old Republic game, we start in a very interesting spot. I wonder if you start out as a Wayseeker, you know, or something similar, you know? Because I've been telling you guys that I feel like the Sentinels are much like the final evolutionary state of the Wayseekers, right? But I wonder if there is a Jedi title in this era of Star Wars, because we haven't really seen it yet. And maybe you are a Jedi Knight. You're just a random Jedi Knight, you know, in the Order. And hey, you know, there's rumblings in the Outer Rim about a potential Sith faction that is rising. Can you go out there and try it? See what's up, what's going on. You know, and then you go out and you start investigating, and then one thing leads to another, and then, bam, destiny. I don't know, man. I'm excited. I'm just excited to be a part of it. You know, that's what I really want. Dude, I don't know. There's so much. There's so much. I love this game so much, dude. Yeah, a Wayseeker as protagonist would be sick, but I still think that's me, Hopium. I still think it's a little too early for them. You never know. SWTOR Sentinels or normal Sentinels. SWTOR made them lightsaber experts for some reason. Yeah, not SWTOR. I just think the title, because you know it's a video game, so it has to be very, you know, class based. So that was one thing I always felt like it was trying to do. I hope we get saber customization. I'd spent much time pimping it out. I don't. It's very interesting because these are Knights of the Old Republic devs, not Star Wars the Old Republic devs. I'm sure they're gonna want you to do something in terms of identity, right? But it's really just about what they want to do, you know. You know what? As much as I love this game, guys, I do wish there was co-op, man. I really wish, you know. Though when I see this trailer, bro, I just wish I could do this with like 4 or 5 friends. I don't have many, you know, or even with you guys, you know, like if I could just have a freaking space station to chill with you guys with, man. Because I can boot up SWTOR anytime, man, but I want something new, you know? I want 4K. Oh, man. All right, so here is another thing that we wanted to go over today. And it says, if Anakin was never burned, would Sidious have respected the rule of 2? Sidious never respected the rule of 2. Sidious did not give a single shit about the rule of 2. These were things that allowed him to build the power base that he was on. And yes, of course, you know, he had Maul, he had Plagueis, but don't get it twisted, man. The guy was really only loyal to one thing, and that was power. And that was, honestly, in my opinion, the rule of 1. I think what's also interesting, too, is, like, if Anakin was never burned, Anakin would probably kill Sidious. At least that's what George Lucas says in the Star Wars Archives book. You know, and I actually think one of the coolest endings is in the Revenge of the Sith movie game, where Anakin actually does that. And then he screams at the top of his lungs saying, "The galaxy is mine!" With his brand new red lightsaber. What George Lucas says basically is like, if Anakin doesn't lose on Mustafar, he's killing Palpatine. And then Anakin Skywalker is becoming Emperor of the Universe. Of the universe. Not the galaxy, the universe. But I don't want that ending, man. I like Anakin redeeming himself, you know, even though we've never really gotten that. I don't like Anakin turning and killing children and shit, you know. It's not my Anakin, but he did. He effed up. Gage says, didn't Sidious respect it when he went to go out when he go to take out Maul in the Clone Wars? Kind of no other reason to do that. No, I mean, yes and no. I think he was more so just going out to do there because Maul was getting too powerful. Maul was creating a crime syndicate. You know, that was a very, very scary alliance that Maul was working on. I mean, you have to understand, like, Sidious is sitting there allowing the Separatists to get strong and the Jedi and the Republic and the clones, you know? And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this third faction rises up. That the territories of the Syndicate are massive, okay? And they're all around the Outer Rim, so they will take control of supplies and any other hyperspace routes where trading is happening. That is dangerous. Maul could have absolutely crippled the entirety of the Clone Wars, the entirety of the Separatist faction, and the Republic. He has to go and deal with Maul. That's why he stood on business. It wasn't really about the rule of 2. It was like, oh shit, this guy that I freaking trained has actually become a problem. So I need to kill him. You know, that's really the main reason why. Star Wars God says, what are your thoughts on the way Clone Trooper 5s died? It's probably the most tragic thing. One of the most tragic things in Star Wars. It's extremely depressing. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, I think that's why Clone Wars is so good. And I think it's so funny because so many people hate Dave Filoni these days. But all of them, all of the clones, is a very tragic story. And I think that's why we like the Clone Wars. And I think that's why we're so personal with clones in general. I actually think one of the best news stories, new character arcs, is Crosshair, man. I think Crosshair is one of the best stories in the modern age of Star Wars, man. His arc is so compelling, so beautiful. how much he suffers, and then finally wakes his ass up. You know, yeah, I love that shit. Fives is up there too, but Fives really started it all, honestly, all the craziness. I really don't understand the Dave Filoni hate. It's just a trend. That's all it is, man. I tell this story all the time, you know, but you know, I'm ahch-to, you know, I've been around. Revenge of the Sith came out in 2005. I was a sophomore in high school. After I saw that movie, I thought it was the greatest movie ever because I was a Star Wars nerd and I love Star Wars. And when I ended up seeing that, I went back to school on that Monday, and everybody was saying how bad of a movie that it was. They hated Hayden Christensen. They thought he was trash. They kept saying the same thing over and over, that George Lucas had sell Star Wars, and that they were terrified he was going to remake 4, 5, and 6. That was every day at my school after Revenge of the Sith had come out. And we talked about Star Wars till I was senior year, and there was no more Star Wars. And then I graduated, which was actually the same year the movie came out, the Clone Wars animated series. And then the Clone Wars started it. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's always been that way. It's sad that Dave has this now, too, but that's just the way it's going to be forever. You can have someone else that's going to come in and replace Dave one day, and he's going to be seen as the awesome new thing, but eventually people will get tired of that person, too. You know, it is what it is. I mean, I think the same thing would happen with Tony Gilroy. He would come in, he would do this, you know, and then, he does an animated show, he does a movie, but then you'll start to see the same stuff over and over and over, and then you're not going to like that, and you're not going to like this, and I don't know, man. I don't know, man. You know, marriages don't last long in the real world, and so I'm assuming that's why a lot of people just get used to hating on someone after they don't love them anymore. You know, it is what it is. Then he sold it, and now people regret it. Yes, Leon, that's exactly it. He did. He sold it, you know? I think most people really push away the people that love them the most, you know? It's just the reality, man. It's actually kind of crazy. Yeah, grass is never really greener on the other side, man. Very rarely it actually is. I love Clea's story in Andor. She is a bad bitch. Ahmad says, could there be any chance that Vader kills Darth Talon and we can Maul in Shadow Lord? I hope not. I really want Talon to escape and be free and be in the new stories. But I don't know how much of the influence those characters will have for, like, you know, the new Jedi Order movie or whatever, you know? Which Star Wars episode do you think is the best? I don't know. I think depending on, like, my mental health and the day of the week, it's probably Return of the Jedi for me. But Empire Strikes Back is very good. You know, because, well, all right. That is the wrong answer. It's probably Empire Strikes Back, because Empire Strikes Back is probably the best Star Wars movie. And my favorite has nothing to do what the best is. So I will probably say Empire Strikes Back, as I think is probably the best Star Wars movie. I think The Empire Strikes Back is the reason why all the other movies get made. You know, the first Star Wars is very important. Nothing can happen without the first one. But Empire Strikes Back is better than A New Hope. And I think if that movie does not do good, probably don't get a prequel trilogy, you know? Who knows? Give me give me more Tony Gilroy fatigue. Yeah, I know. So, all right. So since I have some Last Jedi fans in the chat, did you guys see the new Wake Up Dead Man stuff on Netflix? And I'm gonna say some shit that might piss you off. So, give Rian Johnson the High Republic. Just give him the High Republic. Just give him the High Republic. I think that you should just give Rian Johnson the High Republic. I think that certain fans appreciate those movies more than other fans. And I think that those fans also enjoy the High Republic. I would love to give Rian Johnson full control of a TV series for the High Republic, or even a trilogy. I think that would be a good move. I think that's a good move. I honestly, I think that's fine, because there are so many characters in there, and with everything going on in there, it's so inside its own verse that you can give this guy the same freaking control that he had in The Last Jedi, which I do not like. But I think it'll work for him in an era that really isn't all established in live action yet. There's a lot of stories, there's a lot of characters. I think he can go ham. Will he want to do that? Probably not. He seems like he definitely wants to do his own thing and wants no rules, But that's just me. I'm, because you guys know me, I'm not a fan of The Last Jedi, but there's things I appreciate about it. But when I watch those damn Knives Out movies, I can't say that this guy is a bad writer. I can't say he's a bad director. I think those movies are great. I get really excited every time another movie comes out. And even the other movie that he had that had come out, was Split or something? I can't remember. With those guys going back and forth, and he had to fight his future self. That movie's great, But I think that would be a good era for him. Leon says that's a no for me personally. Leon, you don't even read the High Republic. What do you care? Looper! Thank you, Gage. Yes, that was the one. Yes, that was. Thank you. Have him make a Star Wars murder mystery be awesome. I don't know about that. That's too much. I don't know. I just like... There's parts that I see where I'm just like, wow, this could have been good. Wow, I wouldn't have done that, but I don't know. It's just a really frustrating point, because when I watch these movies, and a lot of people know that I'm a freaking Star Wars nerd, you know what the question they always ask me, chat, is they ask me, what director do you think would be good for Star Wars? No one. I don't think there is any good director for Star Wars. The only good director that there was for Star Wars sold the fucking franchise, So now you have people come in and they think that they enjoy Star Wars. But what their perception of Star Wars is a fragment of everything else. Maybe they only like the original trilogy. Maybe they only like the prequel trilogy. Or like Leslie Headland, she's a Knights of the Old Republic fan. She loves the expanded universe and the source books. Like, that is freaking awesome. That's the exact director that I would want. But, look how The Acolyte turned out. Look at all the flaws. And I'm not trashing any one particular. I'm just pointing out facts about why this happened, I think that Star Wars is a very hard franchise to direct for and create stories, especially live action and movies, because people have to come in and they want to put their own stamp on it, and they have every right to, but sometimes that stamp may do damage to the franchise. Is it intentional? Of course not. But we live in a society where like everybody is just so how can I say, they get really upset when their views are challenged, especially when it's around a character, or a certain arc, or a weapon, or a movie. And I feel like somebody that comes in is going to change this, and then it'll evolve it, or maybe ruin it, and then there you go. That's it. You can't take away that decision. That movie is there for life. That show is there for life. That character is there for life. And then when all the feedback is done and it's too polarizing, which is also bullshit, they stop. The Acolyte gets canceled, or Rian Johnson doesn't come back and finish Rise of Skywalker. That actually pisses me off more than the person coming in and changing things, because now all of a sudden you're not dedicating enough to this person and you replace them or you cancel it. And I don't think George would do that. I think George would be committed to telling the story. So Rian Johnson should have finished off the trilogy. I think The Acolyte shouldn't have got it canceled, even though I have so many problems with these things. I don't understand the idea of investing so much just to stop and quit when ultimately you can improve. You can make it better. You can absorb the criticism and realize, okay, yeah, that's actually understandable and fair. Let's use this criticism and make something even better to show, yeah, the ideas that we had were actually lightning in a bottle. We just needed to figure out what the hell we were doing, We need Tony Gilroy. He's him. I challenge you all in truly believing the things that you say about Tony Gilroy, because what about Tony Gilroy do you think where he can bust out quality like that for Andor over and over and over and over? I'm not saying he can't. I'm just challenging you on what if the next thing that he does in Star Wars sucks. It's possible, bro. I'm just saying it's possible. Patrick Mahomes doesn't make the playoffs. MJ may have not got that ring. Messi didn't win the World Cup. Sometimes they have bad seasons, all right? That's all I'm saying. Andor is fucking godlike, though. I would love Old Republic, High Republic, Rey movie, whatever, I think there's a lot of stuff that you can do, man. I think it's very hard to find directors that are going to be consistent enough to continuously make good Star Wars. And I think hating on someone like Dave Filoni is only going to push them away from the universe that they've literally helped establish and create forever. Thank you so much, Wife Mar. Appreciate you guys. I don't know if Gilroy was hit or miss, but I'd love to see him make more. So far, he's the best. So far, he is the best. I would say yes, as in short answer, yes. Because it's just two different styles, and I still believe, like Jon Favreau, in those first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian is insane. And I always tell you guys the same shit, and I always get hated on TikTok for this, but like the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian gripped the world in a much, much more popular and influential way than Andor ever has. I'm not saying The Mandalorian is better. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it's better written. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying there was something about those first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian that did something Andor has never done. But Andor is amazing. If you have more shows like Andor, movies like Andor, then I don't think anyone is ever talking about how Star Wars is shit or dead or whatever. I mean, I think they're going to say that anyway, but clearly the level of quality is very good, But there's a reason why. I don't know what that reason is. Maybe it's because Andor, in my opinion, is so high level where it's very hard to like sit down and actually watch it because you can't be scrolling. And Mandalorian is like you can be scrolling, you can be building Legos, and you could still follow the story, and then Luke Skywalker shows up. Oh, shit, Is that good storytelling? I don't know. I'm just telling you, more people were involved with this, and a lot of them were not Star Wars fans. And I think that's very, very, very important and powerful. All right, TikTok, we're going to be done for the day. If you guys haven't already, please follow the YouTube channel. We're getting so close. But I will see you around. Jello, if you want, bring that in the comment into YouTube, and I will answer it in here. But they get Deborah Chow to direct Kenobi, which makes no sense. She should have been there post-project. So here's the thing. I'm going to answer this on YouTube. Deborah Chow actually did an amazing job on The Mandalorian. Problem was that her funds were completely cut for the Kenobi show, and they were cut again. And the way production works is she was probably trying to handle all these things and consistently change the story over and over and over because everything that was going on with Disney at the time, And don't even get me started on the volume. Leon says, I want a Kylo Ren Ben Solo game somehow. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen. That's the other thing too, man. It's like I also feel like Star Wars games are, you're not going to get the same expanded universe feel that you're going to get with like current Disney stuff, because a lot of these characters are behind a paywall. And by paywall, I mean like they're movie characters. That's the reason why you haven't seen Enfys Nest ever. Kira barely, Abel in the Bounty Hunter comics, So it's just whatever with those storylines and everything that's going on with Lando again, So it's, I don't know, man. I just don't believe that you're ever going to see that. Mano brought Star Wars back. Star Wars never left. Force Awakens wasn't bad. Last Jedi challenged people in ways they didn't like. I did not like it. I did not like it. But there are a lot of people that I meet that like it. There are a lot of loud people that don't like it. I'm one of them, But it is what it is, man. You if you like it or you don't like it, cool. But I don't think we'd all be here if Star Wars is dead, Because even with A Last Jedi, or whatever you think is like the worst Star Wars something, we're still here. Star Wars is still making $1 billion every year on Legos and Hasbro alone. It is what it is, man. Cage says, I think Dave is influencing the first two of the Mando more than Favreau. 3 is the season Dave wasn't really focused on, and look at the difference. I'm not sure. I think Favreau is completely underutilized. And I think Favreau is way more busy now than he was when he first started The Mandalorian, especially when you read those art books, because he had already talked about he had 4 seasons already written out completely. And then Grogu blows up and makes so much freaking money that maybe Disney goes, this is just me theory crafting, and adding facts to it. And then maybe they say, hey, we need more than 4 seasons. Can you please make more of this? Because this little green gremlin is making so much money for us. Okay, sure, And that's what it is. That's the reality of the situation. But I don't know. I mean, I still think Dave is great. I loved Ahsoka. Ahsoka is one of my favorite shows. It doesn't mean it's good. It's just one of my favorites. Okay? That's all. Diane says, well, of course you're not going to get the same EU feel because of the new canon policy. Licensing only had to get Lucas' approval, but they never had a story group that managed continuity. I even think it's just, I think it's even more complicated than that. I think Disney is very like, hey, what are you using this money for? Because that's what I heard in productions that I was involved in, and I don't think Lucasfilm has ever really had to deal with that. And I think that is actually one of the hardest things to adjust to. No longer episode run. Oh, the longer episode runtime definitely helps. Yes, it helps. But I don't know, man. All the money crap is just so dumb. I could be here talking all day about that. Only channel subscribers for 20 minutes or longer. Whoa! For some reason, the stream will let me comment, even though I've been subscribed for years. Huh. I'm sorry, Leon. I just saw that in the Discord, dude. I apologize. Really sorry about that, dude. I don't know why I even said that. I didn't change anything. Skywalker Academy is replying to Gage, and Diane in the Force says licensing back then just got to authors in the right books that lose approval. Yes, but now publishing is part of Lucasfilm. Yes, exactly. Yes, it's there's so many different levels, and that's just for books. It doesn't even go into about video games or pitches that are going to be shelved with anime projects. But yeah, guys. Last thing I was going to talk about, because it's already freaking 9:18. This is really interesting. I don't know what you guys want to believe about this, but Star Wars Eclipse has a status, and Quantum Dream apparently is very eager to show more off soon. Development is currently progressing at full pace, with filming taking place throughout this year. New staff continue to join the project every single week. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I just don't believe you. I will say there is a Star Wars racer game that has pod racers and speeders and swoop bikes And that shit looks amazing. I am way more excited for that than anything Eclipse. I don't even know what Eclipse is about or it's going to be or what the mechanics are anymore. I just stopped. I just don't believe the thing is gone. You know, people talk about how the Knights of the Republic remakes are this and that, but like, I think that freaking pod racer game, that racer game, is going to be amazing. I think it's going to be so good. I think that racer game is going to be sick as hell, man. Eclipse mechanics would just be the same as the Quantum games. Oh, okay, so yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens, man. I'm excited. All right, guys. Any other questions? If not, your boy Dagovere's got to go out there. He's got to get that pump. He's got to go do his thing. And then I'm going to go and chill. But if you haven't already, please go ahead, follow the channel, get inside the Discord, which the link is in every single description. And, of course, shorts every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And your boy's on Threads causing some havoc. I posted a clip about Thrawn the other day. And I said, long live the Empire. And this guy that had, like, 20,000 followers replied to me and was like, the Empire is all about space Nazis, you effing weirdo. I was like, damn, bro. Like I can't even like a character or anyway. Yeah, dude, I just, my bad, I guess. It is what it is, dude. That guy was so mad at me, man. And he had a lot of people liking his stuff and replying. I don't know what the hell I did, bro. I was just talking about Thrawn, man. Damn. My profile picture on Threads is me dressing up as Kylo Ren. Damn, dude. Man. Star Wars racing going to be Mario Kart or Star Wars? Don't say that. I can't stand Mario Kart. I will throw my controller. It'll be Mario Party all over. I will not be able to handle that shit. Don't say that. You take that back, Skywalker Academy. Oh my god. I'm looking more for like Hydro Thunder. That's what I want. I want Hydro Thunder / Star Wars. And what's the Captain Falcon game that they have? That'll be really fun. But I think that's it, guys. I think we're done for today. So I'll see you inside the Discord. And you know what time it is, man. Every single Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, we are coming into the Dark Temple, visited by Mara Jade, Luke Skywalker, and Kyle Katarn, and so many of the Force sensitives like yourself. I am Lord Dagovere, and I'll see you around. Deuces.